Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again with game number 2 of Orbit Gaming and Troopers, and as deemed very, very necessary by the pregame lobby chat, I must inform all of you that Captain America on Troopers is currently playing at his mom's house in the nude.
And I can respect that. Captain America really showing why he is Captain America. The fact that we have the freedom to play video games naked at our mom's house really brings a shed of patriotism? Patriotical? Like, as an adjective. Oh, well, a patriotism tier to my eye. Because God bless America and Captain America. But, Zillion ban. Are you surprised? Darius ban. Are you surprised?
Not at all. And still the Katarina ban. So showing they're more afraid of Katarina than Rumble in this situation. And still pretty solid bans going there from Troopers, Alistar, Malphite. I forget what the last ban was from the game, but we could potentially see a different one going down. Potentially a Karthus ban. Karthus, of course, is a champion they don't want to be dealing with at all. Nubby Pooter was able to pick up some... no, they actually had Urgot last game, so I don't think there's going to be an Urgot. Oh, no, never mind, I'm dumb.
Oh, yes! High five in the air right now. I could see it just because he's so scary when he is on the enemy team, and Troopers like, well, we did well with him last game. What if they do that to us? What if they just ult us and kill us a bunch of times, and he gets a Guardian Angel, and somehow there's a Zillion on their team? So they're in a good spot where they can play comfortably because they know last game what went well. They know that some of the characters are banned out, but they have a backup plan. You can't go in with just one plan, or else you just get decimated.
So we're going to have to see what the picks are going to be this game, of course. Orbit Gaming was thrashed by the Zillion Ultimate in addition to all the Guardian Angels coming out from Troopers. And we do know that there's a Lee Sin, a Katarina, and a Rumble floating around from their team. Speaking of Lee Sin, they're going to steal it away from him right there. So Orbit taking the Lee Sin, potentially a top laner or a jungle champion. They took it away from Troopers. What other tricks does Troopers have up their sleeve to really just catch Orb off of their rocker like they did last game?
Okay, so that pick right there of Akali and Rumble, I think that they're trying to just, make Orbit feel a bit odd because those are two characters who are really bad against Lee Sin, both in the top lane. If you put them against Lee Sin, he just kills them. But they could bust out the Rumble. They have to have something else in mind. I do like the Lee Sin pick because it does deny them that character they banned out last game. That was one of the original bans, Lee Sin, because Nick Wu is good at Lee Sin. So get rid of him. Secure them for yourselves because I know Hyde does play a mean Sin himself. So it works out in the end. But Troopers, what are you guys going to do? Is it really Rumble first pick?
I mean, it could be a Rumble pick. Now, Rumble is, of course, been known to play a lot in the top lane. And now, like you said, Lee Sin could go into the top lane to play against that Rumble, or Lee Sin could be going into the jungle. So Troopers might be taking a gamble on this one. They do have a game up on Orbit, so they do have a little bit of breathing room right here. I don't think we're going to see a solo mid Rumble. It's something that's been floating around into some solo queue games. I don't think it's all too effective, but there is always the possibility of this one. And now Nick Wu's actually picking up Nocturne, the jungle that Orbit Gaming had last time. So Nick Wu might be going to himself, hey, you guys picked Nocturne last time. Let me show you how to play that character.
And the thing with Rumble is he is good, but he has a lot of flaws in lane. Like they are small flaws. Yep, Yordle, man. Well, he's a Yordle in a mech suit. That's pretty cool. But the flaws... they can be exploited. He's very gankable. Someone like Lee Sin, who's going to have better sustained damage at levels 1 to 3. What Lee Sin can do is just attach himself to Rumble, and Rumble can't do anything about it. Like Scrap Shield, not going to outdo the slow. His Flame Spitter or Electro Harpoon does not just outdo Lee Sin punching him in the face. So they're in a really good position right now. Oh, Captain America is apparently an amazing Rumble. So if he's confident... Oh, okay, 221 games. Wow. Captain America, 221 games played as Rumble, then 68 games as Yi.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying before. They banned out the Rumble in the first game because they didn't want it falling into the hands of Captain America. However, now they have a Shen pick and a Lee Sin pick, both very powerful top laners, both decent jungle champions as well. And I don't know about you, but I mean, like you said, Lee Sin is going to be able to stick to Rumble. For some reason in the world of League of Legends, punching you in the face does a lot more damage than the Flamethrower. So I'm perfectly okay with this. The Blind Monk is going to be facing off against Rumble. Shen, of course, has been known to dish out some damage and really not take a lot in and of himself. So that could potentially be another troublesome matchup if they decide to switch the Ninja into the top lane over the Monk. But over here, we do have potentially a Lulu pick. Not going to talk too much about that one because it got changed to Soraka last game, so I'm still not really ready for that one. But we do have a lock-in of Sivir, and there goes the Lulu pick.
Okay, Lulu Sivir. I cannot guarantee this will be their bot lane. So Lulu can work as a support. It actually makes a lot of sense with Sivir because you just have this amazing poke you can set up if one skill lands, you can probably set up the other. Like if you can land a boomerang blade, chances are they're in a good position to get hit by glitter lance. If glitter lance lands, that slow sets a boomerang blade. So I like the synergy, but that may be a mid laner, and I'm literally still being told just how good Captain America's Rumble is. I want to see this. Apparently, it's like Hotshot GG's Old in Italy. So this might be one of the best Rumbles ever. Rumble, by the way, one of the hardest characters to play in the game.
Oh yeah.
As much as it seems like you just press QWE, just press buttons and it works, there's actually this really weird flow, this really weird synergy and timing where just it's all zen, it's all calm.
Listen, studio, before we were talking about League of Legends tonight, we were actually talking about some of the Evo coverage over the weekend, the fighting game tournament that went on, and I was talking about how I was never going to be a good fighting game player because I just cannot put in combos and I could not count frames. Rumble kind of reminds me of that style. You're going to have to make sure you count your energy, make sure that you don't overheat in time to use spells, make sure you're in that danger zone so you can potentially get the extra benefits of his spells, but you have to do it so masterfully and use the skills in unison to make sure you're really maximizing your damage potential. It is a very, very calculated champion. A lot of people will take Rumble to the top lane and be like, I can shoot fire everywhere, this guy's easy, and all of a sudden they overheat and they don't damage properly and they wind up dying to a gank because he is very susceptible to ganks. So I'm very interested to see if the Captain America is going to have a very, very powerful Rumble pick. We do actually see on the other side Soraka and Ryze being picked up as the last two picks, and then Cassiopeia to face off against Ryze in the mid lane, studio.
Cassiopeia trashes Ryze. Like that is one of the original Ryze counters. Ryze, he has gotten a little less popular because characters like Anivia, they got more play. Froggen from CLG EU over in Europe just made her good essentially, just because he started playing her and he wrecked. It was awesome. Ryze loses to Anivia. Ryze has a lot of trouble with Cassiopeia. What's going to happen if Ryze goes aggressive, if Ryze hits a Rune Prison and his Q, Cassiopeia can just land her own Q line. Any sort of poison miasma is not too hard to land, and that Twin Fang follow-up. What's going to happen is Nubby Pooh Bear will press Q a lot. Judy Monica will press E a lot. Judy Monica's E's are just going to hurt more. And like that's what it comes down to. Judy Monica will just do more damage. So it's a really cool lane. Totally in favor of Cassiopeia, but there's always the possibility of those high ganks. High on Lee Sin, they did go with Shen top lane. Shen versus Rumble. I mean, traditionally, Shen, way back when Rumble was seen a little more often, did have better sustain, but I don't know, man. This guy is apparently just like the god Yordle of all Rumble players, playing nude at his mom's house.
It's a very impressive person. It's a very impressive character. We're going to have to see, is it going to be enough to beat the ninja over there? But I'm actually very interested in this Sivir Lulu bot lane going up against Ezreal and Soraka. You talked about the poke from Sivir and Lulu. Ezreal's going to have constant poke from Soraka with that infuse to keep his mana up right there. We've seen being max Essence Flux first is a build very, very familiar to a lot of pro players right now, so we can really get that harass down, even maxing it before the Q of his Mystic Shot. It is going to be dealing magic damage, but it has the benefit of passing through minions and only targeting damage down on the champions. In addition to this, it's going to help Ezreal with his passive, stacking up attack speed, and any of the allies that it actually travels through will be gaining attack speed as well. Not necessarily all that beneficial to the laning phase, but still a decent amount of poke from Ezreal and Soraka. But Boomerang Blade, Bouncing Blade, Glitter Lance, a Shield, and Whimsy, once again, that is a lane that I am actually very stoked to watch, Studio.
Okay, so just a cool thing about the Rumble build. Normally you see a lot of AP runes on Rumble. I'm just going to keep going back to Rumble.
You really are just talking about Rumble right here, so I'm going to look at the runes and everything for you. AP tank health?
I like it, man. I like it. Masteries, what did he go? He went 21-9. All right, makes sense. You know, stay aggressive. You do need that damage as Rumble and get a little bit of defense. You don't want to die is also a big thing. But Mr. Fissures, check it out. Exhaust, Ignite, Sivir running the heal. So Mr. Fissures, he's the killer down there. He will set up everything with his slow, with his shield. You're right about that. Mr. Fissures is going to be a huge deal down there. It just takes one good skill shot and all of a sudden Sivir will be on you. And with her passive, people forget about it really often, but she gets an extra 50 move speed when she auto-attacks. I believe it could be champions only. I can double check that, but with a good setup from Mr. Fissures, they can start putting on aggression and damage and getting kills so fast.
Yes, actually her passive is only when it attacks enemy champions. I actually did click on her and take a little look at that too, because I had no idea if it procced off of minions as well. That'd be pretty broken if she was able to just kind of leapfrog to minion and gain attack, gain movement speed. That'd be a little silly, but still, the chasing potential on this lane is ridiculous. If Ezreal and Soraka even overextend the slightest bit, they're going to be immediately on top of them. Yes, Ezreal has the Arcane Shift to chase away, but the amount of slow and the amount of speed that this lane has, especially when Sivir gets her ultimate, they could potentially catch up to him if he's basically in the middle of the river and he tries to Arcane Shift back towards his tower but can't yet reach it. They could still just be right there next to him, basically. That's how fast this lane is and how much slow and disable they have. Not to talk about that Whimsy, it's only going to be adding additional movement speed to the bottom lane over there, or it could polymorph one of those champions into something cute and tiny that's not going to be very, very fast at all.
Okay, now let's talk overall, just general team comps. What's the focus? So Orbit, their focus is once again more about global. They do have Shen, they do have Soraka, and Ezreal, even though he isn't considered the strongest global character just because that ultimate's not easy to land from far away, it's still global. It's like they have a lot of presence across the map, and Troopers. They actually have a really solid poke team. Sivir's Boomerang Blade, the Glitter Lance from Lulu. The fact that they have Nocturne did two things: denied Nocturne from Orbit, and also with Rumble and his ultimate, they can go ahead, poke down at a turret forever, and then if they feel they're in a good position, they press R on Rumble, they press R on Nocturne, all of a sudden the fight has started, and they can really lay down a lot of chase, a lot of pain. I really like this composition. It is non-standard, but so far Troopers has shown that they're good at that.
Once again, I'm just looking at the overall team composition you mentioned, the focus on global and the focus on teamfight objectives coming out from Orb and their champions. Once again, even with their mid character, Ryze is not a very early game champion. You have Ezreal, who's of course going to be the AD carry, so he's a little bit more of obviously a late game champion, but still Shen, not necessarily going to be dealing a lot of damage. He is going to be more of a tanky kind of champion. And still, they're always focusing on the late game, but not focusing really on champions that will be known to go into the enemy's face and win their lane. Looking at the side from Troopers, Rumble and Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia, like you said, the old school direct counter to Ryze. She's going to win her lane by being aggressive on Ryze. Rumble, as you said, building tanky, but still building aggressive, 21-9. He can win that lane against Shen. And as we saw last game, Troopers took those lane advantages, took a very nice jungle character that was able to supplement those lane advantages, and just really snowballed out of control. So with Orbit Gaming picking up this more of a late game, and we're going to focus on team fights and, you know, the Shen shield saving our AD carry and everything, if they can't generate some sort of early advantage, I'm probably going to give this one to Troopers again if they can play like they did last game.
Now, Orbit, they are, I'd say, in a rough spot emotionally. That's got to hurt. They've been so dominant lately. That's a big loss, that first game. I don't know if I've seen them lose a first game in quite a while. Usually they'll take the first game in a series and then they might lose the second if they don't if they do win it in the end. But the cool thing about Orbit's bottom lane, you did mention Ryze. He's in a scary spot right now. Ryze vs Cassiopeia is not good for him. But Intenso and Lemonation, that is a lineup I've seen before. Soraka, Ezreal, they know how to play it. They're very effective. They will be doing the Mystic Essence? Essence Flux. I'm forgetting just the names, like Mystic Essence. Like, wait, no, that is two separate skills. They will do. They will max out Essence Flux first, as you mentioned before. They are going to be very effective at their pass. This is a lane that they're good at, that they've played a lot. If they're not on tilt emotionally, they can do so much and be so effective. But the blue is getting stolen already, so the aggression from Troopers starts so quickly.
Yes, indeed. So Nocturne is going to take away this blue buff from Lee Sin. Lee Sin, of course, not really going to need a blue buff to move to the jungle. It is a little bit of barrier to his own experience game, though. Nocturne, of course, is going to have a blue buff over here, while this other blue buff over here is completely exposed. He could actually give it to Cassiopeia early or get it himself for that little bit of an experience bonus. Lee Sin, in the meantime, takes his own red buff. And one of my favorite things in the World Studio is level 2 Lee Sin ganks. He has Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. He has the Tempest and Cripple. Could we potentially be seeing a level 2 gank? No, we could potentially, however, be seeing an enemy blue steal. Lee Sin going in for some counter jungling of his own. Nocturne decided to go towards his own red buff, so we could see a red buff. No smite up for Nocturne, so this could be a little bit slower for him. See a red buff for Nocturne, a blue buff over here for Lee Sin, trading jungle sides, you know. So maybe the jungle invasion from Troopers this game not going to be as effective on high. That's a pretty good plus sign from him over there. We do see Lee Sin kind of snooping around, going through river. He is going to go probably back towards his own side of the jungle. We'll keep an eye on him, though, to see if he is going to be ganking anytime soon, because Lee Sin ganks, one of my favorite ganks in the World Studio.
They're pretty damn good. And the cool thing about Orbit, last game did not put a ward down in their jungle. This game, they put a ward down into enemy jungle. Like, there was no ward at all early game. So with that ward, they did spot Niku. They saw he had a blue buff, but he came from their jungle. Where did that blue buff come from? So a good play by High, spotting and just stealing it.
Yep, so we do see, here we go. Lee Sin with a level 3 could potentially go in for a gank on Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is flirting with disaster over on the side of the brush. That would be Lee Sin's Sonic Wave coming out of there. Nocturne is in the jungle here. Ooh, Lee Sin shows himself, but Cassiopeia was actually just doodling around over there in lane and actually decides to move back at the same time Lee Sin moves forward. So no gank coming out from Lee Sin over there. I shed a tear of sadness from that one, Studio, but still a little bit of a passive game compared to how many kills we saw basically the 4-minute mark last game. I think there were 4 kills within 4 minutes last game. So this is a little unorthodox compared to what we saw before.
And that was Judy Monica playing smart. Judy Monica knows that they want to kill him. He will do well against Ryze. They want to get Navi Poover into a good spot. So he's playing very cautiously, not going for too high of an aggression, just to make sure that if that gank does come, he's in a good spot. And bottom lane, by the way, Chuuper taking a lot of damage, so they don't have any sustain, no Soraka this game. This could be a big issue, but look at this fight up top lane.
Ooh, Rumble is actually going to decide to be a little bit aggressive here on Yuzuki, but Lee Sin comes in. There's the Safeguard Iron Will combo. Nocturne coming in from his own jungle, though. This could potentially be a kill for both sides. Fear does go off onto Shen. Shen flashes, but the Ignite's going to pick up first blood right there. Captain America going to live through all of that. Lee Sin's going to wind up running into another kill there.
You gotta get out of there.
Navi Poover is getting feared, Studio. Ooh, but a very nice walk towards the tower. Flash might save him. Wants to get aggressive on Ryze. This is not going to be good. Cassiopeia has followed right there. And what looked to be like Captain America walking into a 2v1 wound up being a very, very good counter gank from that Nocturne. Double buff on Nocturne. No bust at all on the side of Orbit Gaming. And even though they look to be in a great position right there, Troopers completely turning it around. And Nocturne does not seem to be done yet. Waiting in the wings of this bush. He is going to recall over here, though. Ryze does not want to get aggressive on Rumble, no matter how low Rumble is, and everybody eventually is going to recall on that top lane.
And this is just what we've seen from Troopers before. They play well as a team. They had Judy Monica coming in right behind Ryze, and alright, Rumble getting out of that gank, it may have not looked that impressive. What they do, he walked away and he flashed away. That was actually an amazing flash, by the way. But what made that so effective is he knew that was going to happen. That's why the move speed runes are there, just to keep himself safe in case of situations like that. If he was moving 4.5% slower because he didn't have those move speed runes, he would have died before getting to Nocturne. Just the extra auto attacks would have been enough. So just the solid planning, just coming into this game with a good plan to go ahead and just survive situations like that. I mean, they're ahead 700 gold, not huge, but this is a good start, and we saw them take a great snowball last game. They're in such a good position just to keep it up.
Ooh, and here we see Lulu getting a little bit of aggressive. There's the Whimsy and the Glitterance down to Ezreal. Exhaust goes off as well. Ezreal is going to flash and Arcane Shift. Look how fast the rest of the team is catching up to him. He had to burn both the Summoner and the regular spell in order to get away from that one. And of course, Sivir with this Spell Shield right here isn't really going to mind any silences or Mystic Shots or Essence Fluxes being thrown her way, because she's just going to generate mana constantly off of those. We see her basically with about a 3/4 full mana bar at all given moments in time. Rumble, we saw kind of placing a ward down in the river over here, so he is going to be warding up against aggression. Nocturne, not yet level 6, wants to go for a little bit of a gank here. Is Rumble going to be able to bait out the taunt from Shen? The Creeks are pushing a little bit aggressively, though, because that flamethrower on Rumble. One of the downsides is it hits everything in the area, so it will actually be pushing the lane naturally. Shen taunt forward, but is not going to land right there, so Lee Sin will not potentially go in for this gank. Could be dangerous, though, because Nocturne is actually still waiting around right here, being ever so patient. Not yet with a gold per 10 item, though. Has the Modred's Razors to get that Wriggles Lantern first. He's being super, super patient over here. Both junglers continuing to wait around, and I don't know, Studio. We could have some aggression up here.
This is a bait, and Orbit looks like they will not fall for it. It's really cool that they went ahead and did that. Lee Sin did reveal himself for that gank, and when he did, what did Captain America do? He kept aggressively. So Orbit, they had a feeling something was up. They weren't positive. They did not know for sure whether Nocturne was there, but they took a guess, and they were right. They came out ahead in that situation just because he didn't die. But right now, look at high at level 4. We have Nick Wu, level 6 already. His ganks are just better now. And top lane, Yuzuki just taking so much constant pressure from Captain America. He does have only Sword Shoes, no Revolver at the moment, but with those 4 health pots, he will take a lot of damage. And we could have a counter blue buff going on right now.
Uh-oh, Ryze has no mana there. There's a ward over the wall, so Hai's going to have to actually take this up for himself, though. That's actually a very smart heads-up play from Hai. Sees the ward come over the wall, smites the golem almost instantly right there. Ooh, but the equalizer goes down onto Lee Sin. There is a Q and an R. Nocturne is going to go in there, and Rumble will claim the blue buff for himself. Number one Rumble NA picking up the kill right there.
And I gotta say, I do love Captain America's Rumble, and they're just going for this tower dive.
He's not done yet.
Has to taunt into his turret.
He's actually gonna not. Ooh, gets tagged with the fear. Is Nocturne going to fall? As Knight goes down, there is going to be a kill right there. Rumble will pick up a kill in the meantime. Cassiopeia tower diving in the mid lane picks up a kill over on Rise. So tower dives aplenty. Troopers should be remained into Troopers tower divers at this point, because that is how aggressive they've been in both of these games. Now in the bottom lane, look at the splitter lance. Look at the Whimsy level up from Ezreal right there. Ultimate goes off. Tag a lot of damage on the Lulu. Counter aggression now from 9 is going to pick up a kill there. Lemon Nation actually tagging that one.
Can they do it?
Sivir is going to get very, very low. A wish goes out from Soraka on top of the Astral Blessing, so nothing is going to come from that one, but still, very, very nice counter aggression there. Ezreal leveling up in the middle of that fight, kind of saved him and kind of turned the entire fight around as that ultimate went down on the Lulu, and Sivir did massive amounts of damage, and I don't think they expected him to level up and all of a sudden deal a wave of like 200-something damage there, Studio.
And that's a nice little information game, because EXP is one of the few things you cannot see about an enemy from their stat screen. You can make a guess about their gold because of CS and, you know, their kills. You can make a guess about, well, you can see things like move speed and attack damage, but things like experience, with that hidden information, you know, just turning that gank around at the perfect moment, got them those 2 kills. And once again, we saw this last game. What was the one lane that was actually doing decently? It was going to be the bot lane from Orbit. Can they bring this around? It's only a 600 gold difference, not as big as we saw last game, but I am kind of scared because, frankly, Shen not doing very well, Lee Sin will fall off, and Ezreal not known to be an amazing late game carry. He's solid, but he's not amazing, and Cassiopeia will do so much damage. Rise not going to have a good laning phase. They're just in a scary spot.
Yeah, they are in a very, very scary spot right now. So once again, Troopers continuing to push their aggression, pushing an advantage. Not as big of an advantage as they had last game, but still they are making Orb play extremely cautiously, even if it doesn't look like they have a huge advantage right now. 12.2k to 11.3k gold. It's like an 8 to 900 gold advantage right now, but still, Orb is afraid, and that is one of the biggest tools they're going to be trying to use against them right now.
Actually, mid lane, the ultimate comes out from Captain America. He's just going to kill Nabi Pooh Bear right now.
Oh, no. Shen ultimate will wind up saving Nabi Pooh Bear, but that is a Shen ultimate down and a Rumble that has pushed them away. They are actually going to be able to capitalize, take their own blue up, and go for a dragon attempt now. Now that Shen has come down to save the mid carry right there, Rise is going to have to go back, so there is no map presence over here by the dragon right now, and that is going to, Ezreal attempting a steal right there, but is not going to go down. Almost right there. Very good try from Ezreal, but no cigar right there as they're able to pick up the kill onto that dragon. 4 members of Troopers. I think it's time to do what they do best. Tower dive. Nocturne ultimate goes off. Ezreal is not in a good spot. Flash and Arcane Shift out of the way, but there's a Rumble still chasing after him. There is also an ultimate. There's an ultimate going down in the meantime from Lulu as they're going to be going down onto this Soraka right here. Nocturne's going to fall for the second time in this tower aggression. Soraka's going to live right there. So, here comes Cassiopeia, though. Rumble wants to go back in for a second pass. There goes the Flame Spitter. Lee Sin is in the bush, but he is really low. Shut down, though. Kill at #1 Rumble North America. Chuuper will pick up the kill on the Soraka, though. Now there's a Whimsy going down on the Rise, being turned into a misformed cupcake right there. But Chuuper is going to go down. High actually picking up the kill with a Sonic Wave right there. Now Nabi Pooh Bear still at above half health, chasing down these 2 very low champions. He smells it. He wants the blue buff, and he gets the blue buff. So now Orb playing a little more conservatively. Troopers put Orb in this position. Like I said, they were afraid of Troopers. They were afraid of the aggression and wanted to play conservatively. They had the aggressive play in mid lane that put Rise back to heal. Lee Sin followed after Rise, wound up going into the bot lane when they sensed the aggression. Soraka did a great job of staying alive, let the rest of Orbit Gaming catch up to them at this point, and because Troopers doesn't have the dominant lead they did from the early game of last game, they're able to actually turn this one around, and even though Chuuper picked up a kill in that engagement, they lost, 3 champions, and that is not what they want to be doing. This has given Orb a way to really combat the strategy and catch back up in the gold. It's pretty much even right now, Studio.
They got those kills. I mean, Troopers just overestimated themselves. They fought in a really weak position. There was no mana. Actually, people were getting ulted once again by Captain America. USA in the nude right now at his mom's house. But they came in without any mana, without just anything to really fight that. And by the way, I love that ultimate from Captain America. Just gonna roam by mid, get a kill, head to top lane, then I can lane normally. If they can go ahead and play a bit more conservatively, be a bit less crazy, they'll be in a good spot to keep up their advantage. But right now, it is more or less equal. It is a 5-1-2 Rumble, which is terrifying. But this is a game where by no means Orbit is out. This is not that 17,000 gold lead we saw before. This is an 800 gold lead. That's a smaller number, a much smaller number. And in this case, I do like seeing that smaller number. a longer game should be coming out of this.
Yes, indeed. Actually going to take a quick look at the gold tab. Who is that gold going on? As you see Nocturne kind of being pinged that he is in the river over here. Take a look at the bottom lanes. You know, looking at Ezreal actually a little bit ahead of Chuuper Sivir in that bottom lane. I think the big differential is going to come from Rumble against Shen. Almost a 12,000 gold advantage, right? A 1,200 gold advantage, which is basically almost all the advantage from Troopers right there. Cassiopeia, of course, does have a little bit of farm over there. Actually, not a little bit of farm at all on Ryze. They're about even right there, so that's not where the differential is coming from at all. It's mainly just the top lane and perhaps the junglers right now. But we do have a little bit of aggression from the bot lane, though. Nocturne is going to go in. Speaking of those junglers, Whimsy and Fear go off on Ezreal. Lulu ultimate goes off as well. Nocturne, are you going to die to this tower again? Ooh, look at that. There's an Ezreal ultimate going off. Not going to take anybody down, though. We wind up actually seeing in the top lane in the meantime, Lee Sin picking up a kill on Rumble. This bottom lane aggression is not done yet, though. A Shen ultimate goes down. There's a flash from Ryze with a Rune Prison. They're actually going to pick up a kill there. Nubby Pooh Bear takes down Nick Wu's Nocturne. So trading actually 2 kills for none in that case. So Orbit right now in a very strong position, takes a slight gold advantage, evening up the kills, and now you're going to see the Dragon's not here. Cassiopeia coming down from the mid lane, runs into a Shen and a Ryze, tags both with the ultimate. Is she going to get out of there? Flashes the taunt. Very nice play there by Judy Monica. It looked like that they were getting caught out of position right there, but a nice flash is going to save the day. So it is no more kills going in favor of Orbit. However, top lane, Lee Sin sticking around because Shen teleported in to save his ally in that fight, picks up a tower, and we have the first decisive gold advantage for Orbit in both games right now. About a 1.5k gold advantage with that tower being taken down by Lee Sin.
And I mean, right now it is an 8-8 kill score. Troopers got a dragon. They should be farther ahead than this. They should not be behind, actually. But just the overall CS is going to be in favor of Orbit. They have a big lead in the bot lane. They did take out a killing spree on the Rumble, which generates a little bit of extra gold. But overall, I gotta say, the way Troopers is playing now, they're acting like they're still ahead. But they're not. This is a different game. They are behind. They are playing like they are just number one, though, and doing amazingly. But the only person who can really do that right now, and it's only a kind of, is Captain America. So they're just too nuts right now. If they calm down, if they played a bit safer, they would have that lead still. They would probably be farther ahead. But as it stands right now, Orbit, they have the lead. They should have a good feeling about it right now just because they've been getting so many ganks and been so consistently strong in this game that they know they can go ahead and apply a bit more pressure themselves. And if they do catch up characters like Captain America, if they do stay ahead, they're in a really good spot just to go ahead and start their own snowball. Both teams are really good at snowballing, by the way. Troopers, we haven't seen them play from behind before, so that could be their downfall. But we don't know, man. We don't know.
We don't know at all, so we're going to have to see as the game progresses. Once again, a little bit more, just a little bit of trading blows and aggression coming out from the mid lane here. We did see Ryze. He's walking up, taking a couple poison shots from Cassiopeia. Nothing too much is coming out from there right now. Like you said, Cassiopeia was that little bit of a counter pick to Ryze, but Ryze is doing a fairly good job because of the aggression from the rest of his team. Actually, both deaths on Ryze. One of them was caused by, I think both of them actually were caused by Rumble or Nocturne coming into the lane right there.
Watch Cassiopeia, watch Cassiopeia.
Ooh, Cassiopeia walks into a bush with a Ryze. There's a Rune Prison, a taunt, and that is no more Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia be gone right now. So now Orbit is the one getting a little bit of aggressive right here. Blue Tart actually going down. I believe is in the top lane as well, so equalizing up there. A little bit more gold going in favor of Troopers. Oracle's Elixir on the Soraka very early, so Orb is now the one denying vision and wanting to be aggressive on the Troopers, and it is working out spectacularly. Rumble goes in with the equalizer. A taunt goes out on the Nocturne. Actually, Ezreal will fall, so the DPS has been taken out of this. Ooh, there's a Lulu ultimate on Nocturne, but he will go down to Lee Sin. Trooper's going to take out Soraka in this one, though, but a double kill for that Lee Sin. Now coming and picking up a triple kill, taking down both Lulu and Sivir. So going into an engagement over that blue buff without their AP mid champion from that fight right there. Troopers all in all lost 4 champions in that prolonged engagement. Looks like Orb only lost 2. They are going to be going for a dragon right here. Rumble is the only champion alive for Troopers. Cassiopeia did just spawn. We'll be heading down immediately from right there, but it's not going to be in enough time. Blue team will indeed slay the dragon. So now Orb, Cassiopeia almost walked into another bush. She's very, very prone to slithering into enemy fire right there. So something you're going to have to double check on that one. But Chuuper still try, like you said, they are...
USA, no, America's about to die!
No, Rumble gets tagged with everything once again. Roaming gang squad of a blind monk, a Shen, and a Rune Prison mage walk into a bar and cause a lot of damage onto Captain America's Rumble. Once again, Cassiopeia flash, Rune Prison, Shen ultimate just to get a little more advantage right there. There's a Lee Sin going down on the Cassiopeia, but Shen was not able to stick the taunt like they wanted to. There's the taunt from Shen going into tower range, taking a page out of Chuuper's book, saying, towers, I don't take damage from those. I'm just going to go into there, but Shen might have bitten off a little bit more than he can shoot right now. Is going to fall to Nick Wu's Nocturne. Nocturne taking a lot of damage. Soraka now in the fray. She's actually going to be taking a lot of magic resistance away with the start call, but no more aggression is going to come out of this middle lane fight right here, Studio. Whew.
And with that dragon down, with just the overall crazy fight and crazy sequence of kills, that even though they did pick up Yuzuki in the end, how many kills just went to Orbit right now? I want to say after before the dragon fight and afterwards, it was about 6 kills. So lots of bodies just hitting the floor right now for Orbit, and it's great for them. They're ahead so much gold right now. Ezreal did die early on in that fight, but if Nintenso can get into a good position, he's far enough ahead right now where right now Chuuper will probably just die to AoE possibly, or might get bursted down by Rise. But Nintenso, if he stays safe, he might just get guaranteed damage off. He'll have to dodge the Equalizer, he'll have to dodge possibly Nick Wu, but he's safe. Almost. He's one of the safer AD carries in the game. But I gotta say, Troopers, they played like they were way ahead throughout this entire game, and they've just been falling farther and farther behind. They're not staying safe with their warding. They did pick up an Oracle's Unlemonation, but how did we see Judy Monica die at the start of the fight? She walked into a bush. Well, walked into between 2 bushes that had characters in them. How do we see Judy Monica almost die again? Same thing. And then in the end, from another bush, here comes Orbit to pick up a kill on her. So it's just going across right now. They are not staying safe. They're not protecting themselves from the aggression. And when they are not the aggressors, they're really just not doing quite as well.
No, and the one thing is, like you said, they're playing like they're ahead. They had a little bit of an advantage, but it was not a large snowball lead like game number 1. So Chuuper's secret may lie in the fact that once they get aggressive, they try to play to keep that advantage. They continue the aggression, they continue making very risky plays with high rewards, and it really works out for them. But like we mentioned before, Lemonation picking up an Oracle's Elixir, High picking up an Oracle's Elixir right now. They have the map, they have the vision on the map and are denying it. One thing I mentioned in game number 1 was Orb had 1 ward on the map at a time. That was it. Right now, taking a look at the vision, it's like a Christmas tree on the side of the map. They have so many offensive wards, a couple defensive river wards right here. They are completely lit up to everything that Troopers is going to be doing. Troopers, meanwhile, is the one with 1 ward on the map, and that is going to be a ward over by their bottom tower. Actually, 2 wards on the map. They have one in the mid lane to try to spot any more aggression on Cassiopeia. So still, now Orb is the one gaining global map presence, denying vision to Troopers. Troopers, although, like you said, they're not reacting to it and not adjusting their play style. They're continuing to play like they have the entire map open to them, and unfortunately for them, they don't right now. Orb is shutting that down, and it has proven to be very, very effective. Now Orb is in the lead, 14 kills to 11, 30.3k to 26.7k, and they have a tower advantage over Troopers too.
So we talked about EVO in the last game. Let's talk about it again. There was an 8-year-old at last year's EVO who was a big hit. He did well in the fighting game scene. He's 8 years old, man. That's nothing. That is miles behind Team Dynamic in terms of age. But he did really well, and he showed up at more and more tournaments, and he went from doing amazingly well to just doing okay. He's still a good player, but he has a lot of faults. He has a lot of learning to do. This is the case with Troopers right now. There are a lot of things this game that did not need to happen with just some safer playing. This is something that TSM themselves used to be well known for. When TSM was behind, very often they would just die. It's like, we're behind, Reginald likes to play aggressive, we're gone now. But TSM, they've really improved upon that. They're no longer just kind of weak when they fall behind. They're weak when they fall behind because they're behind, not because of an extra flaw. So Troopers, they need to adjust to this, and right now, I think they can. I think they can still turn this game around. Totally possible. It's a big gold lead, but not, 20,000. So it's there. But if they don't, I mean, they should learn from this experience. And oh my god, a Baron, it is being pinged though. This could be their chance to really change this matchup.
We're going to have to see here, how is Troopers going to respond to this one? They have been in a pretty defensive posture this entire time, but now mobilizing to the call of a Baron. Orbit Gaming's taking a lot of damage taking this Baron, so it looks like they might be kind of committing to this right here. Ezreal, in the meantime, is just being bait. Shen is split pushing in the meantime like Splend does.
They don't know.
They don't know at all. There's no vision. Baron is getting super low. Less than 1,000 HP. It is going to go down. Blue team has slain Baron Nashor. Thank you, announcer lady. We didn't know that in the first place. But now...
Oh my god, gonna survive that. Captain America might die, actually.
Ooh, the Shen ultimate coming from bot lane. That is the power of Shen right there, ladies and gentlemen. Now this is a Baron fight in a 4v5. Now Troopers is on the back foot. They want to get out of here. They do not want to fight right now. They may have had an advantage before, but it is diminished by that Baron buff. Shen ultimate being ridiculously effective at saving that Ezreal. Once again, Captain America going in with that #1 Rumble NA. Wants to be aggressive, cannot do it. Baron buff randomly pops on Ezreal, and before he knows it, he's in too far and bit off more than he can chew. Now Orbit's going to go against this tower. Troopers don't want to contest this right here. Don't contest this first tower. Orb is going to wind up taking that one. Troopers now having to back off. look at how defensive they are. They are, like you said, the champion select, have a little bit better of a poke team, so they are going to try to poke as they fall back to ward Orbit off from being any more aggressive right now. But with an additional tower under their belt, a Baron buff, and global gold from that, Dragon respawning, they're going to go down and take this. Orb is going to have a large gold lead now, 36k to 29.7k. Dragon is only going to buff this even more. There's going to be a lot of gold in these banks for Orb. They're going to go back, heal up, take some buffs, buy some better items, and now Orb is going to be the one being aggressive. And if Chuuper wants to fight the aggression war, they are going to lose. Right now, they have to play extremely cautious, Studio.
You're right, and well, right now, you know what this time is for Orbit? What do you do after Payday? Do you go ahead, do you spend conservatively, or are you just like, yo, homies, let's go ahead and hit up the club, or if you're cheaper like me, yo, homies, let's hit up the Carl's Jr. What do you do?
I definitely hit up the Carl's Jr., but it looks like that Orbit is going to be on the conservative path. We see a Hex Drinker going on the Lee Sin, a Phage being picked up by, was that Ezreal picked up a Phage? Someone picked up a Phage in this team, the agent, but I don't exactly know where it went down. Looks like there's actually Shen picked up the Phage and rearranged it on me, so I wasn't actually able to find it on the screen. But many wards being purchased. Soraka picking up a handful of wards. Ryze with some wards. Shen with some wards. Gaining the map presence, making sure they take down all these buffs. Ezreal over here going to be starting the blue buff. Ryze going to be taking it down in 2 quick spells. The red buff is already gone. The enemy buffs are nowhere to be seen on the map. They are going to be pinging them though, so they don't exactly know if they've been taking it. So they are going to check these. They are going to ward up, warding extremely aggressively in the enemy jungle. They're going to know where the enemy is, and we're going to see Orb try to funnel the entire team of Troopers into one lane. Shen is going to split push if an engagement starts because Troopers wants to get aggressive. Shen ultimate's going to go down. They have Baron buff, and it's going to be a bad time for Troopers. So right now, playing extremely cautiously, Orbit Gaming is going to wait for this Baron buff to be almost gone before they make their move, Studio.
And well, the club wasn't them buying items. The club was them going to these turrets, which you just pointed out. They're going to split push. They have this. Nocturne can actually teleport from bot lane to mid lane fairly quickly, especially with how pushed in they are. But right now, Izuki, he's farther ahead. He's level 15. Niku is only level 12. Does not have as much gold. They can fight, and in the end, Izuki will win the engagement. So, I mean, right now, Chuuper and his troopers have to start poking, have to start doing something. They cannot force an engagement, though, just because they'll lose it. That will happen. A fear could come out from Niku, but in the end, they're going to be most likely a 5v4 or just 5v5 situation, neither of which they can win. A 4v5, maybe, but only then that's a pretty big maybe. And a 4v4, it's still not yet.
Oh,
still
no.
not. Well,
Captain America, it looks like the entire Orb team is rotating top. They almost found Rumble cutting through his own jungle over there, but a rotation to the top lane. Cassiopeia is still stuck in mid lane. She does not have a teleport, and they're being extremely smart with this one because Nocturne's ultimate cannot reach top lane, but Shen's ultimate can. There is a equalizer going out right there to try to ward off some of the minions. Lee Sin is poking and prodding around through the forest over here. Cassiopeia moves up from the mid lane right now, but this is where Orb wants them to be. Even though they have a lot of poke, Orb has a Baron buff that is going to be regenerating their HP extremely fast. So they are going to take down this turret, try to push the issue of top lane, maybe dance between top and mid lane. But as I mentioned before, if they stay towards the top, Nocturne cannot go up there, Shen can go up there, and that is going to be the 5v4 that they want. Baron buff has now ended, though, so they only actually net 1 tower from this one, and maybe a little bit of gold advantage from the split push and everything going on, keeping Troopers in an extremely defensive position. It's going to be very interesting to see how Troopers reacts to this one. We've seen them play extremely aggressive. We haven't seen them on the back foot yet, Studio, so we could see some impressive things coming out from them still. They are behind by almost 9k gold. It is a very large lead, but still, we've seen teams come back from worse deficits in this one. Can Troopers turn this around? There's a lot of poke going on by this mid tower. Nocturne and Shen continuing to do the dance of minions against the tower right down here. There's a ping actually going out from Orbit Gaming. Cassiopeia is going to go back. Ryze potentially might want to go over this wall and take out Nocturne for good, but there is a ward right there. They know what's up. The rest of Troopers is positioning, but there's a ward right here from Orbit, so everybody knows exactly what everyone else is up to. Great job of warding.
It's still a standoff.
It's just, oh man, it's like playing Magic the Gathering. Someone plays standstill, all of a sudden no one wants the other person to draw cards. Rumble making the first move here. Once again, using that equalizer, not netting any damage right now. So neither team wants to give the other team an advantage of engaging first and potentially having a chance to fall back into a defensive position with this Shen ultimate or with this Nocturne ultimate and turning a fight around. Orbit is ahead right now, but if they tower dive, that is going to be a very bad time for them because Troopers, they're behind, but they're not weak. Once again, that Sivir has an Infinity Edge. We've seen Rumble do some nasty things already. There's a Shen ultimate going down on Ryze, and Ezreal ultimate initiates as well. Lee Sin in the middle of everyone, kicks Cassiopeia with the Lulu ult on her. Lulu is going to go down. to the Ezreal, though. Lee Sin is staying alive somehow right there.
Lee Sin.
Legendary Lee Sin indeed. Shen picking up a kill on Rumble right here. Nocturne does not look long for this world either. A legendary Lee Sin again, 10, 2, and 4. He is still alive, studio. Shen taking tower shots to let everybody walk out of there. You can't kill that tower yet. This tower is still alive, ladies and gentlemen. Now it looks like Ezreal tank will go on the offensive, continuing to trade blows back and forth. They didn't really have to do that because they have a wave of creeps right here. But that is just Orbit showcasing how much further ahead they have gotten from that team fight. 19 kills to 11, not as impressive as Chuuper's lead last game, but a 14k almost or 13k gold advantage right now. It is 47.7k to 34.9k. They've gotten 6 towers. They've gotten 19 to 11 kills. Forgot to kill the inhibitor. There we go. Ezreal just turning around over his shoulder, tapping that down. That is everything Orbit wanted to happen in that engagement, studio.
Cool guys don't look at inhibitor explosions. And Mr. Fissures, no!
Oh! Alright, so we've seen that Chuuper's disadvantage right here has been the fact that they love to walk next to bushes containing the entire enemy team. And
I am a nature lover. Right now where I'm living there, like, I see deer, man. Seeing deer is so cool. But still, this is not the friendly nature. This is not Mother Nature. This is angry Mother Nature. This is Mother Nature come home at 4 a.m. drunk. So you cannot go near these bushes. Oh, this could be the engagement they need, though.
Oh no! Look how much damage Puuber is doing, and the Ezreal ultimate finishing off Chuuper. Cassiopeia getting snagged in the bush, trying to take down Ryze. Ryze may fall on this one, but they traded 3 for 1. Ezreal and Soraka are going to get the damage down onto Nocturne. Nocturne is not even going to be able to kill Soraka. Wish goes off. That is a rampaging Ezreal right now. Lee Sin, after clearing the top lane, is like, yo, what's up? There's a Baron buff. Okay, let's take it. So, wow. Once again, Soraka is not a deer. She is a very angry magic-toting unicorn, studio. So that
unicorn go.
Oh, man, that is so much damage. Unfortunately, Chuuper's downfall, like I said, have been bushes this entire game. Deny them map vision, and Orb has found the way to be counter-aggressive on them, taking their second Baron buff of the game. Unfortunately, Ryze will not have that one. Puuber is going to be very, very sad Puuber about that one. So they're going to just go back and buy. They have buffs. They have an advantage. Blue buff has respawned for them. Red buff has respawned for them. Enemy buffs are down at this point in time, so they won't be able to take those away. Could potentially see endgame item builds and potions beginning to be bought. Taking a look at Ezreal, he has red pot. He has green pot. Puuber, no potions on him, but has a Banshee's Veil on top of his Glacial Shroud, Abyssal Scepter, and Tear of the Goddess, approaching its near full stacks, approaching Archangel Staff status with that Blasting Wand. Lee Sin, in the meantime, has picked up a Maul of the Malmortis on top of his Frozen Mallet. That is why Lee Sin is able to go in there and tank all the damage that one team fight. Shen, in the meantime, solo and dragon like ninjas do, has a frozen mallet, has a Wit's End, has my favorite item in the game, a Bionic Spark, and Orbit Gaming right now, 53.3k to 37.7k gold advantage. This is what Chuuper's was last game, studio.
This is, I'd say, the end of Chuuper's. So that team fight, that really quick team fight, the spinner vote does come out. Just to quickly cover it as this game is about to end, do you want to know what killed them there?
The bushes.
Well, the Ryze AoE and the Ezreal AoE. How often do you think of those characters as AoE characters? Never, but just they were so clumped up. Every little bounce from what is Ryze's bouncing spell count? The bounce nuke. Spellflux. I knew it was a flux. I wasn't positive. Every bounce from Spellflux hit him, hit 2 people with the AoE. The Ezreal hitting 3 people. Like, just the team fight AoE, you do not expect, blew them up in that bush. And that was just, a game of bushes, a game of over-aggression from Chuuper's. This is not the end of the series. This is a best out of 3. That was game number 2. So Chuuper's, I mean, they totaled Orbit Gaming in that first game. Orbit Gaming, they destroyed Chuuper's after a bit of a kind of weak early game. So what can they do game 3?
We're going to have to see. Both teams now kind of know what the other's tricks are, and they know how to respond to this one. Is Chuuper's going to be able to learn as much as Orbit Gaming did from their loss, or is Orbit Gaming going to claw themselves back into this one and take an impressive Game 3? Orbit Gaming, of course, being super impressive the past couple online tournaments. Chuuper's relatively unknown. We have a very exciting match on our hands, studio, and we'll be getting into this exciting game number 3 right after a little commercial break. So stay tuned, guys.